Nero, good morning. Seth, morning. So, when I'm seeing the silver market act like this, I mean, again, guys, it's been in a pretty big downtrend. So, I don't want to give too much weight to one little period, but historically, in particular, the gold market bottoms before the general market. Does that mean our market is done going down? I have no idea. I have no idea, but it's not really my opinion. It's like historical fact that gold tends to bottom before the general market. So, seeing silver just flag up like this, and then seeing gold start to perk up, and then the other one that caught my attention, I'd like to see this not be going down. The 20-year bond. It would be nice to see this going up. It rallied yesterday when the market ripped, and then it didn't tank back down. That was like a pretty big character change. So we'll see. I'd want to see TBT going down, and I want to see TLT going up. And I'd like to see gold going up. But again, I don't want to predict. I'll just watch the price action. Morning, brother. How are you? Hope you're all good, brother. EMPH, sneaky little bastard, man. Ripped all the way up yesterday. I mean, the market was crazy whippy yesterday. Crazy whippy. Do. It'll be interesting to see what this market does. It got oversold real fast. It got oversold real fast. I mean, it dropped 12% in like 3 weeks. I mean, it's crazy how fast these moves come down. But I'm still in the general belief that our market, is building a base down here. It's just gonna take a long time. But we'll see. No predictions, really. It's too tough to predict. My surprise is still with crude. A lot of names look really good. Or should I say stronger than most, So if crude gets its act together, or like this oil ETF, oh yeah, it could be interesting for these oil names. But right now the ETFs don't look good. This SUPN doesn't look too bad. It's just man, these things are so thin. It seems like liquidity is dried up in this market. I'm not really seeing like tons of setups that are insanely liquid. Like this NBIX is a lot better. So at least trades like 500,000 shares a day at $100. But things are just super liquid out here. Crazy, honestly. There you go, crude. Chicken out of swab yesterday. This SPWR still looks pretty damn good too. Who knows? Would take a much better market. Stem still looks fine too. Really, it'd have to close below today's low for me to exit this thing. Who knows with this array too? Who knows? See if these names are finding support on the rising 50. Like, CSIQ kind of failed that area, but array not so much. Array holding up a little bit better. Destroyed. Never looked right. Didn't look ready. And that's why I never want to really anticipate anything, because if you do and sit too patiently, you end up hurt. It's best not to anticipate. Do I think the market reaction to rates indicate it's probably priced in? Well, I mean, I know that the Feds are talking about another rate hike in November, and then like another 75 basis points, and then another 50 in December. And that would get their terminal rate up to like whatever, 4.5 or 4.25. But I don't know, You got to remember, they're looking at like lagging indicators. Housing prices are already coming down around the country, and like they're looking for that. That's probably like the last market they're looking to kill. They're probably looking to bring down the housing market a bit. Homes are basically unaffordable now. If you're a new home buyer, I mean, even like myself, for now, I've been priced out. I'm not going to go get it's crazy what it is right now. So if you got a 30-year mortgage, and it was like $1 million, and you had $100,000 down, so $900,000, you got 360 payments, you end up at like 2.1 million versus like the 1.2 million it would have been just like, at 2% interest. So now you end up, paying an extra $800,000 for something like that. Like that's just insane. So right now, I'm priced out of a home. I'm not going to go pay that because of those interest rates. And again, there's probably going to be another period in time where interest rates come that low, but who knows, how many more times that ends up happening. National debt's kind of high. Like something's got to change. Something's got to change. Morning birdies. Yeah, I found a couple nice setups, but I just don't think that they're ready. Obviously, I'd still love to add into EMPH if that doesn't stop me out and it's ready. I scooped a little Aura yesterday, but it kind of pulled back pretty ugly. We'll see. You know, Stop is still basically 95. NBIX looks pretty good, but just needs a little time. Over 108 and a half looks pretty damn good. WSC is another. LTHM's another. But these just, need a little bit more time. I don't know that anything's perfect today, honestly. And again, what do we need? We need a healthy market, and we just don't have that. But a couple of positive signs, is gold looks better. And gold historically, bottoms before our general market. Gold hasn't really been going lower. It's just been consolidating down here. Against 154s, it's just been consolidating. So it's not really going lower per se yet. So, and it's good to remember that gold bottoms before the market. Silver's also acting a lot better. And then I was looking at TLT. It kind of caught my surprise, but of course it's coming all the way down. This is kind of odd. It held up so well yesterday, and it didn't tank with the rest of the market. And it's like now it's catching up. That's weird. Honestly, pretty dang weird. But whatever. Out of our control. Yeah, I love my Ram 1500. I got the limited, so, you know, if you can step up and grab the nicer version, do it. It's badass, man. I absolutely love my truck. Love it. I love my truck. I got it because I got stuck in a snow like pile back in the day, and I was already doing well in trading. I was like, I'm never letting this happen to me again. And sure enough, like I got the truck, and for like the next 2 full weeks, it like snowed every single day. I was looking for big snow piles. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, trade you well. Yeah, you can't do truck stuff without a truck. This is indeed a factual statement. This. I'm gonna be watching Oxy as well. These names just aren't giving me the vibes that they're totally dead yet. And Oxy's just resting again right on the 100. It didn't close below. It's resting right on it, and then this morning it's perking right back up, meaning it's gonna open higher. Obviously, so we'll see. This 100's being defended with all its might. Who knows, man? I was gonna buy it yesterday over this. If it had gone intraday through 65 or 64.80, I would have bought Oxy, but it gapped up, so I just passed. You know, it gapped up and I passed. Was never. I like buying something that goes through a pivot, not usually a gap above. It depends where it opens, but could be a consideration today. Who knows? Crude's ripping up pretty nicely today. It looks not bad. Oh, crude, where you at? There you are. So, who the hell even knows? I keep sitting there saying to myself, these names look so much better than crude. If crude pops back up, you know, these names don't look done to me. I have a hard time believing it until they really roll over and die. But XOM doesn't look too good. Neither really does Chevron, but all these are perking right back up. So we'll see how they shape up over the course of the next couple days. But I don't think there's going to be anything to get aggressive on today. Yeah, DVN, CVX, Oxy, they're all perking up. They're all perking up this morning. Every single one of them. Yeah, well, Oxy, one of the things that people don't talk about is Oxy's got this awesome carbon capture technology, and the government's actually giving credits for it. I was reading up on it, and they're giving carbon credits to Occidental will receive. I don't know what the hell it is. It was like 12 or 16 billion dollar a year tax credit because of the carbon they're capturing from the atmosphere. So, you know, I know they still carry some debt, which they've been paying down pretty aggressively. So soon they're going to be a completely debt-free and cash flow generating machine, which is why Warren's so interested in them. And you have to remember, it's like Warren already makes tons of money with his other companies. So once you own 20% of a particular company, you get to share profits with them. So Warren, that's why I believe wants to buy all of Oxy sooner rather than later. And if he buys all of Oxy, he'll be getting those tax credits from the government. And I'm pretty sure he likes $16 billion in tax credits, if anyone. But again, price action is number one. I don't. My thesis doesn't matter. What you read in the news doesn't matter. Price action has to reflect what you're seeing, what you've heard, the news, whatever. And it's not like Oxy's not strong. It's still up well over 100% on the year. So, yeah, Oxy's just fine. It would just need to base out and create another little clean pivot. My dog's got the zoomies this morning. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna be interested to keep an eye on gold, silver. Silver actually has a pretty nice hourly flag going. It wasn't bad. Nothing perfect just yet about it, but it was decent. And again, gold tends to bottom before our market. So, if gold starts to make a meaningful move back up, probably into the one GLD is the ETF I'm looking at. If this thing starts to get back into the 160s and 165s, that's going to be an interesting an interesting look. More importantly, it'd be nice to see TLT not tanking. This is just crazy. Up on massive volume, down on super light volume in comparison. PI closed okay yesterday too. Who knows? Things look pretty bad going into open. But no judgment. Just gotta let things work. Morning poll. Yeah. Google 52-week low. Amazon doesn't look so good. Apple still looks kind of crummy. Tesla actually pulled back to a pretty good spot. It wouldn't be bad if this thing came back down and touched the 50, 285 down here. And just started building out a new base for a few more weeks. Just got tighter, better. I mean, you'd have a really nice clear supply at 313. Wouldn't be much guesswork, really. You just have to wait for a good market in for 313 to break. It's pretty simple. But, everything looks kind of bad right now.
YCBD. COSM. Acorn. 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 YCBD. Sino. Acorn. 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 SCS. Acorn.
The stem's starting to look better too. Maybe if it just tighten up some.
Acorn.
Oh wow, really?
COSN. CPTN. Mark. Top. Mark. Cheers. Tops. Mark. MBIO.
The one real thing I feel like we haven't seen in the market is like that real capitulation. Just like forced selling across the board, all names. Really fast acceleration down in all names. It's just been kind of like a steady grind down in the markets and pretty much in all individual names. Minus like the names that are leading, but it's just kind of what it's felt like. No real panic selling.
COSN.
Yeah, US 10 year. Yeah, that's not exactly what I wanted to see. I don't want to see TLT getting crushed either. That's not ideal.
AMPX.
It's not ideal, but it's out of our control.
COSN. COSN. IMT. LGIQ. TRKA. CWVR.
Yeah, it would be nice to see gold. Would be nice to see gold bottom. That's for sure.
BCAN. CWVR.
Yeah, Bitcoin needs to die.
CLXT.
That tulip needs to go away.
CLXT. IMT. CLXT. IMT. CWVR. 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 MBIO. NUMT. CWVR. BCAN. NUMT. CLXT. CWVR.
Yeah, we'll see what these names look like in a couple days, but
BCAN.
again, holding on to the 100 pretty well. It's the only reason why Oxy's still on my radar. When this thing starts to truly fail, then who knows? But these oil gas names just aren't giving up. And I don't expect them to. Chevron actually looks, you know, doesn't look too half bad.
CWVR.
Wide and loose still, but wide and loose.
SMMT. CWVR.
But Chevron doesn't look all half bad.
CWVR.
This buy lower. It's making it hard, this environment. Yeah, lithium name's holding up well. LTHM. I mean, it would be nicer if this thing again found support on the rising 20 and just tightened up. Tightened up. If I get stopped out, whatever. But
NUMT.
if it comes back and retests this 50,
SOBR.
just builds out a longer base. A lot of these lithium names could be good for down the road. It's just, guys, a lot of these setups could be good.
RIHT.
Whenever they could be good. Quickly. But problem is the market that we're in. A lot of these setups look decent, but the problem is we're in a crappy market. That's the real issue. The issue is not the setups. the issue is the market that we're in. Yeah, the setups that we're seeing is not they're not the issue. Here's the thing. Everybody's expecting total panic. I don't know that we get it. You know? Like it would be easy in a bull market to just get like a couple of panic days and then there's your bottom. But this has been a bear market and it's just I feel like instead of giving that people that easy out, which is like that final fear and capitulation, you know, it's just been wearing people out instead. You know, it's just been grinding on them instead. So, I don't know. Have been, I'm kind of the same idea of like, oh, I've been waiting for this washout, but I haven't seen one. You know, I've seen a couple in my, in the bull market, but this LNG starting to look better if it can get over 170. Just needed to build out that right hand side a little bit more. Hopefully, it's doing that now. Yeah, it's just frustrating traders. But that's exactly what bull markets or bear markets are supposed to do. It'd be easy to just, see the put call ratio go to 1.5, see the VIX spike to 40 and see a major washout in the markets and be like, okay, fine, it's done. Rip the band aid off. It's over with. Thank God. But that's too easy. That's too easy. Yes. Ah, great. CCJ. Bastard.
Tops. 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 Tops.
Yeah, bear markets are supposed to frustrate traders.
Tops.
It's not supposed to make them happy by any means. And everybody's so used to the 2020 market, that people aren't used to just having to be incredibly patient.
JOXL. Tops. 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 LGIQ. Tops. COSN. WUHN. Tops.
Well, we'll see how this closes. Can't give it too much more room. Everything looks like crap. And I won't be surprised if I'm stopped out of a lot of it. Yeah, frustrating to say the least, man. This market's super frustrating, but I've also taken note of that. I mean, I'm either buying low cheat setups or I'm sizing in super small. Breakouts just don't work in this market. You have to get in low cheat. You have to do an undercut and rally, or do a dip buy setup. There's.
MMMW.
Everything else in this market's just traditional breakouts don't work in bear markets, and it's pretty clear as day that's what we're in. Why don't I short? I can,
GBIC.
but it's just you have to manage those trades even more. Downside's much more limited than the upside, so I would rather just find future leaders, with nice fundamental stories and look for good technical charts. It's much easier. You have to manage a short trade so much more. Man, this CL is having itself a nice day. It's early though. We'll see. But see how those look later. CVX actually looks pretty good.
BCAN.
Hey Ariel,
Yo.
BRQS.
I feel like today might be the day that you
BCAN.
get stopped out of BJ.
Yep.
I just enjoy having you stopped so much. It's like doing so well.
I mean, you held it for weeks.
Weeks.
Yeah, you held it for weeks.
I
That
just loved it.
I know. It is a nice feeling to be able to hold something for weeks. If it starts to take out those 74 80s to the downside, yeah, it's probably good to, the day that it held the 20, if it can't hold the 74 80 area, or basically this low, today.
Well, unfortunately, I would have made zero money
LGIQ.
Yeah.
after holding it all this time.
Sometimes you when you initially bought it, you got like that 3-day push pretty quickly. That would have been the time to have just trimmed a little piece and then, let the stock gods decide what's going to happen with the rest.
Yeah, if I get stopped out of CEG, I will have made like a very nice little profit today.
CEG's beautiful.
So,
CEG's been great, and who knows? This thing might just, bounce off the 20. It very well could. This thing's been an absolute monster.
yeah. I'm just like
BCAN.
kind of sad. I don't know. I'm just sad about
NYAS.
last
NYAS.
month.
NYAS. NYAS.
Sad about BJ. If we were in a healthy market, you'd be holding a name like that for 3 months.
Ugh, just bummed. But
NYAS. 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 NYAS.
shoot, ENTH. I guess I'll cut ENTH to my entry, just 297.
Wall.
Yep.
LGIQ.
Yeah, that's why I don't short, Downside's just limited, and yeah, it's tougher. Hey, take it easy.
Ariel,
Yes,
I bought 2 puts this morning, and I just wanted to let you know I did that.
that's probably smart.
I mean, this setup was just, it was one of those that,
If something fits your eye and is in your wheelhouse.
it was just screaming at me, and I was like, I'm gonna take it. So, anywho, I sold one, I've got one left. I might close it soon and just walk away. It's a nice day for me.
NYAS.
IWM. Yeah. I like IWM, but that CZT is just like slower. It,
SXTC.
Will you rally? Will you not?
ACRX.
It's still kind of early. So, like any, usually washouts in the morning sometimes can get bought up. I don't really take too much weight into. I more so care how things close versus how they open. A little longer for CHK would make this chart really nice. Oh, oxy splattered.
APSI. Yuga. Agree.
Do. This one will look nice if it can find support on this rising 20 and tighten up a few more days. WSC looks not too bad. Suave got spanked. Doesn't look too good. This one too. Man. Names are just going in the toilet. It really just depends, right? So some traders look for demand zones and they look for like dips and then they sell into those demand zones, right? I look for something to get incredibly tight under a demand zone, under a supply zone, get really tight under supply and then break through. You got to think about it like this: if there's supply and a stock can't get over a certain price, call it $10, and everybody sees that, right? Well, $10 would be the spot you short, right? So if you're shorting at 10 and then it comes back down to 9 and then it comes back up 10 and you short and then it goes to 950 and then back up to 10 and you short and then only to 975. Well, every time it comes down, it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Essentially can't go down further. So what you're getting is volatility is contracting. And then eventually I want to buy it as it breaks through that 10, right? And the expectation is you get a quick move, partially because you get new bulls and they see that breakout, and you get shorts who have been shorting at 10 finally covering, right? And so they go covering, and that's what causes an explosive move through a supply zone. So I look for supply to break. But, when a stock enters the demand zone, then, it could be considered a nice dip buy possibly. Or when a stock enters a supply zone, it could be considered a good short. But I really look for supply to break. So I look for things to get tight just underneath it.
STKH. Capped.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, this thing's not bad. Over 450. It's just thin, man. I mean, it's traded 64,000 shares yesterday at $4. I mean, $250,000. That's, you don't even want to be part of something like that. It's traded $10,000 today, man. No, but yeah, I did see Saba. Somebody wants in this thing. I've been seeing this thing now hit my scan and be on my radar for days, but
CGLD.
no setup on the daily. Incredible strength. You know, who the hell knows where this thing goes? Probably doubles from here.
This is bad trading for me, guys.
What?
This is bad trading for me. This is not a setup.
Yeah, it's not a setup.
Okie doke.
Yeah, I mean, where do you see tight on the daily? I don't.
I don't.
Yeah, neither me neither. If you would have bought it on 920 as it got over 919's high, that wasn't too bad. Or if you'd have bought it on 96 as it got over 92's high, each time it basically found support on the rising 20. But you know, it's tough.
I tried to call it out to you guys.
I know you did. I know you did.
It's so pretty. It's just still like flat on the daily.
Yeah, hopefully it'll flatten out for us and give us some kind of an entry. Would love to own this thing. It's a high flyer. Yeah, but a chart like INTR, going back to your question, it's too thin. It's too thin. You know, 100,000 shares today. It's got a $500,000 going through there. I mean, most of the times I take 200K positions. Think about that. I'd be buying like half the daily volume, and then if I wanted to exit, you know, it'd be impossible. My goodness, this things just look horrible.
AGF1. BGTGF. DIGE.
Would be a lovely spot to see FSLR bounce right against the 200 on the 60-minute. Would be nice. I mean, this entire time on this entire run up, it's refused to close below it. Would be cool. I mean, you know, would almost be expected to hold here, but you know, I wouldn't be surprised if it came down further. I'd love to see this thing come back down to the 50 and look like a fail. Would be great. Lily Strong. Yeah. Needs a little time, but yeah. How's yep, how about VRTX? Vertex Pharmaceuticals. Yeah. Who knows? These names are also just slow, but yeah, it's gonna end up putting in a nice volume day to day.
MASN.
Yep,
MASN.
that's exactly right. Yep, On might stop me out here too. A lot of names. A lot of names look like crap, losing their bases. Suave too. You know, FSLR, CELH. Yeah. Although CELH really could actually find support down here on the daily. It's been a previous spot. It's shown up pretty good recently. But yeah, it does not look good.
YCVD.
Does not look good.
LXT. YCVD.
Yep. EMPH. That's right.
Ariel,
Yes.
I am leaving. Thank you.
Yep. We will see you tomorrow.
Sounds great.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Dino. You know, I didn't even know there was any more of these Sinclair gas stations. Not that I've seen anywhere in the Chicagoland area. They're probably still in Iowa and Nebraska and stuff. STNG, man, this name keeps making brand new 52-week highs every time I look up. Crazy. What's TNK looking like? Wow.
Wilhelm.
This doesn't look good. This looks poor. Does not bode well. Stem, unfortunately, got hit out. That sucks. One less name I own. On's probably next here. Yeah, Nat's another one too. It's a cheaper one, but you know. Who knows? This isn't no setup here, but it hasn't been bad. Brother, you can ask any questions you'd like, man. You can ask questions. Yeah, that's not what I'd like to see. TBT, new highs. Yeah, that's just the exact opposite of what I'd like to see. Just the exact opposite.
DOXT.
Maybe FSL are finding that support on the 200. We'll see. Of course, but not before some casualties. Stem. I lost Stem. That's too bad. It was a nice trade, though. It was a fairly nice trade. And who knows, maybe it comes back and recovers, but really, as soon as it lost yesterday's low, that was it for me. It wasn't a bad trade. In terms of percent, kind of sucked, but 6% trade.
RIHT. RIHT.
And we just lost on. I just got taken out too. And that's why this was a super tiny one. wasn't perfect, but if this thing builds out longer, a couple weeks, you know, could be a really nice chart actually.
RIHT.
But for the most part, semis still look like crap. Holy shit, AMD, man. Holy shit. Pharma. I don't even know what yeah, maybe Apple seems to be bottoming. Yeah, who knows. The honestly, the selling seems pretty orderly. You know, I think we're due for a bounce. I mean, a move down like this in Google, you know, 20% in 3 weeks is, you know, it's hard to wrap my head around. You know, it's really hard to wrap my head around this kind of a move down this quickly, but that's the market for you. But yeah, it's hard to kind of fathom that move down.
GNC8.
LTHM, another one I'm kind of giving a, you know, this 3240 level, really 3230, somewhere in this ballpark. If it's gonna start to close below this on the daily, then I'll be out. You know, if it starts to take out these days lows, this nice little green days low, if it does that, then and closes right around there, I'll be out on this one too. Let them set up a little bit better. It'll be basically you know, I trimmed a tiny little piece, like 10% of the position, so it'd be the smallest green trade ever. But you know, in this market, some green's better than no green. Make up for the tiny little losses you're having. It's all that you can do. Stay alive in this market. You're not really trying to make a fortune out here. It's basically impossible. And then, of course, crude's taking a shit as well. So much for the nice push. And it looks like it's rejecting the 1020 on the daily again. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really sure who's pushing crude down, but it seems a little wrong. You know, it doesn't feel exactly right. Nvidia, AMD, holy shit, Soxel. Oh my goodness, Soxel. How are these gold names looking? GFI, Neem.
BRCS.
Even these China names don't really look too great. Lee. Oh, Lee, not bad. Halfway decent bounce this morning. Unlike XPEV. Yeah, some of these China names are just super weak now. Ababa, wow. Ababa looks like it might be heading for 52-week lows. If that happens, that would be unbelievable. especially with this volume that came in down here. Like this volume down here, if this starts to crack these lows on this volume that came in, boy, there's gonna be a lot of. I mean, there's already a lot of people underwater. Who knows? But that was an insane amount of accumulation volume, and they might be purged up out of here. Who knows? But I do have some interest in gold. We'll see. It's usually a forward-looking. It tends to bottom historically before our market, so I do have some interest in seeing what the hell it does.
GFO. Kit.
What? Impossible. Do 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 do.
HSBT.
Do 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 do. You know, in essence, this consolidation for FSLR, like these last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 2 weeks plus. You know, about 2 weeks in a day. It's just really been going sideways. It's actually given opportunity for the 20 to catch up. It's pretty. It's actually a pretty chart. It's looking a lot better too. Even if I end up getting stopped out, doesn't matter. I don't have major size, so it's irrelevant, kind of. But if it ends up setting up, you know, and then it sets up perfectly, and in a healthier market, I'll take way more size, and you know, it would make up for any kind of a loss quickly if it sets up properly and in a better market. But I knew not to get aggressive yesterday on anything. I've known not to get aggressive on anything for the last week, and I've been saying it in this room now for all week. So, you know, I hope some of you guys have listened and heeded those warnings. You know, this is not, look up CanSlim, CANSLIM by Bill O'Neill, okay? We're missing the most important letter in the entire equation, which is market, letter M, okay? We're not in a healthy market, and until we are, and until the market's in an uptrend, I mean, even if we get like a 4 or 5 day rally, it doesn't mean we're in a healthy market. It just means it's a market that's bouncing up. A bull market rally within a bear market, you know, that doesn't mean a uptrending market. So we have a lot of time and a lot of work to do before we get to, you know, it's an uptrending market, right? Now, are there names that are kind of bucking the trend? And if market, you know, were to turn on its face and become a, you know, bullish, yeah, there are a lot of names, you know, you can own. A lot of nice little setups potentially down the road. You know, also, you know, things like CELH could use some more time. FSLR could use a little more time. LTHM could use a little more time. You know, But who knows? Fucking Saba. Unbelievable, dude. I'm telling you, this thing's probably gonna end up squeezing something stupid over the next couple weeks. I mean, look at what this thing did on this front side. Phew. Fucking kidding me? Fucking A. This thing is just ridiculous. Love seeing it. Love seeing it.
ACFN.
Oh, well,
Yes.
EMPH might have to get its shit together soon. And quickly, otherwise, I think I'm about to be out here. It will be, looks like it will be closing below the 20. My big trade though was from here and 309 sells and 317 sells, or 318, somewhere to hell in here. 317. So I did do a pretty good job selling a huge chunk of it, and I only have 30% of my original position. So I'm not really worried about watching this thing come all the way back on 30% of the original size I had. Not a big deal. In this market, I knew I had to get aggressive selling some. And that's something I talked about in a previous stream. You know, if the setup is perfect and, you know, the market's kind of healthy, I will oversize, and then, you know, that's how I'll just treat it. And then get out quickly. But boy, it would be nice to see gold start to bottom. Would be really nice. Like this Neem looks like it could just be building its stage 1 base. I mean, it's way below all moving averages. Not like this is something I want to take, but Suave got splattered. WSC, like I said, doesn't look too bad. Suave, who knows if it finds support at this rising 50. EMPH, unfortunate. But Everything's getting its ass kicked this morning. Bastard. Mm-hmm. That sucks. I just got taken out of both FSLR and the MPH. My stops just got hit. So only the strongest survive, and it looks like I might end up getting stopped out of LTHM too.
CGLD.
We'll see. It's hanging on by a string. CCJ is the only last, my biggest remaining position, still alive. Hopefully bounces right off the 50. And it's crazy because we are in a really weak market, and you know this name's actually not. It's holding up pretty well. It's holding up pretty dang well. So who knows? You know, this could easily come down, find support on the rising 50, and start to build out the right-hand side of the base. But I don't want to guess. I'd rather just respect my stop and see what happens down the road. You know, but I got stopped on PLL. I got stopped on NOC, but I had such tiny size because this gapped up yesterday. Like, I had literally nothing for size. A 20% position. A lot of positions that I took yesterday were just 20% positions. Yeah, Sava. Yeah, Sava's up. It's wild. I just haven't seen a setup here. Again, maybe this downtrend break and you bought over 31 and change, but, you know. Otherwise, yeah, I didn't care what the market did yesterday. This thing was not following any of Paul's words. How's silver looking? Yep. But she's still alive. Here's the thing about FE, you know, even though where you bought it, as long as you feel like you're sized properly, you can give it all the way to that, you know, 40-40 pivot low. You know, it's like that last little pivot right here, Mitch, right here. You know, if you're sized properly, if that holds, this chart's just fine. It would even look better, you know, if it's doing exactly what it's doing, and then it kind of closed like this, just above the 20 on the daily, and then, you know, perk back up and just kind of hold, and then, you know, this could be a really nice chart down the road. It's just been a little choppy, but again, trend is up. But we'll see. Honestly, this market environment is just a real pain in the ass, honestly. An incredible pain in the ass. Yeah, right there for FE.
UNCY. UNCY.
Well, on a positive note, my largest position is still my portfolio. So that's the one nice part here. Although my ads are basically flat. And again, here's the I actually didn't do 3 to 5 days sell rule on CCJ. My average was really nice, and I've been waiting for nuclear to go bananas, and it might never happen. So it's obviously sucks to like watch to be up $4 or $5 on something, and then watch your ads come back to flat. But I gotta respect the stops. Fact is the market looks like shit, and this name's actually holding up pretty well. You know, some people will look at this like a double top, or I don't know. Some people will give us all sorts of names for what it is, but really CCJ's been in an uptrend for a pretty long time. This, according to this 200, the very long-term trend has been up. It's tough to foresee that changing when I personally believe nuclear is going to be the way to go in the future. Yeah, Bloom Energy is tough. Plug needed more time. Plug needed more time anyway. And this is fine, dude. This could easily find support on the rising 200 today, and then if we start bouncing back up, it's just building out a bigger range and a new healthy fresh base above moving averages. So I don't want to hate on Plug too much, because this still looks okay. Yeah, it's not perfect, and we'd love to see a bunch of stronger names, stronger setups, but this market sucks ass, and a name like Plug looks great from the lows. It's made a nice move up, and now it's really just consolidating. I wasn't going to take it until it had a better setup, and then it got over the 30-30 area. I was kind of looking at these 30-30s, or just $30 really. Over 30, and we'll start to consider it. But again, it never got perfect. I don't see a tight day at all, or a consolidation above moving averages at all. Plug never gave us that, so it wasn't perfect. Never gave us that at all. So it's got to build out this right-hand side and get tight right under just this $30 supply area. If it does that, then we'll be interested again. But until then, and we'll see if LTHM chooses to bounce here. But unfortunately, FSLR got me, and EMPH got me. But EMPH is a great trade. I'm not mad with this one at all.
Wind.
Yeah, it depends, right? Usually, sometimes, like on LTHM, I sold like 10% up here of my position, and then the rest I just held. So it was a super small green trade, but a green trade nonetheless.
NYAX.
Tesla basically was a tiny green trade.
NYAX.
Tiny green trade. I ended up getting stopped out yesterday. But yeah, it's been a lot of tiny green trades, or flat, or small red. I haven't taken any major size. Well, I mean, there's no real, it's tough to get bearish when the market has gone down this much this quickly. It's impossible to get bearish. I don't understand how you could get bearish in a 3-week decline. The indices go down 13%. Yeah, guys, it's oversold. If anybody goes shorting into this, they're total fucking bozos, honestly, and they don't know what they're doing. If you were going to be net short, you had to have done it when it got back up above this 200, or as it broke down and then started to reject really hard on 826. the 200. And as soon as it took out 825's low, 414, that was the cue to start maybe looking for net short positions. Not down here. Anybody shorting down here is just a total jackass who deserves to get blown up. And they will get blown up. Bear market rallies will cream bears, honestly. They're vicious, they're violent right back to the upside. So, this is oversold. Do we have to perk back up? Do we have to move back into the declining 50, back up to 399, 394, 405, whatever? No, we don't. What is oversold can remain oversold. But if you guys think that shorting down here is the way, I got a beach house to sell you guys in Idaho. There's no shorting down here. This doesn't necessarily mean, be greedy when others are fearful. This just means look for nice setups. Because if the market does bounce and rally, any nice setups are going to push really far away from your average. Fact is, there's not a ton of setups. So, there's not much you can do. But if the market registers a nice little 3-4 day rally, there's going to be some things bucking the trend. And if you get a follow-through day, any kind of a follow-through day in that uptrend, 4 or 5 days up in a row, which, by the way, we haven't had in a really long time. We haven't had 5 up days in a row in a long time. The last time was in March. Let that shit sink in. We haven't had 5 up days in a row since March. I guess, you could call these up days, but, these essentially green days are flat. So it kept gapping down just to put in green days. But we haven't had 5 up days in a row since March. All right? I'm not looking for shorts down here. Yeah. I know you're not actually suggesting shorting down here, but I'm not gonna get bearish down here. It's overcooked. There's no edge. Shorting when something's going parabolic and then thinking about longing when something's just absolutely washed out and there's fear and capitulation. That's when, you do that. You go long when things have gotten way too overcooked to the downside, and you consider shorting when things have gone vertical to the upside.
EMET. CCH.
But here is the thing. I don't like to see a bunch of these leading names, or that were leading, start to break down. So there is that. This like CELH. I don't love seeing these things break down. EMPH. They were like what was the leading sector in our market. So, if they start to break down, although, something like FSLR is not really breaking down. I mean, this doesn't look like it's dying, does it? Just because it's putting in a red day on the day. So, wow, this LNTH, man, kind of gotten smoked recently. But yeah, it's tough to be bearish in this scenario. There's no edge, right? There's no edge being short down here. And my stop just got taken out on LTHM. Great. All right. How's this tulip looking? This tulip here looks like it's gonna explode. I can't believe this used to be a $1,300 stock. Woo! Unbelievable, man. How are these crypto names looking? As bad as Bitcoin's looking, because it just recently saw a new low, Mara, names like that, they're actually much higher. They're almost still 100% higher from their lows. That's it's interesting. Honestly, I'm taking note of that. Not that I think it's that big a deal because they're still under tons of overhead, but it's nice to note things like that. If the market and Bitcoin were somehow to get its shit together, your starting point for Mara is 100% higher than it was a few months ago. Interesting.
WABD.
USO. Is green today? Hardly. USO's hardly green today. BCAB looks good. Let's take a peek. Yeah, yeah, for being a cheaper name, I mean, there's not much volume going through today. 120 something thousand shares, but it's surfing the 20. Big move up. Seems like it's finding support on the rising 20. Just I don't know. I don't see what I like to try to find is some kind of a tight day or a clean supply level that the stock might be breaking. And I don't really see one, right? I don't really see a perfect supply level. But yes, it does, dude. I won't talk too much shit because it actually looks pretty good. But it's a pat. I can't take something like this personally. This doesn't scream future leadership to me, but it does scream big move potential. I mean, 400% in just 2 weeks less, a little less, 250%, 300%. Okay. The nice part is even this if CCJ closes below the 50, it'll still be a profitable trade. Yeah, it could. I just don't see a clean supply level. That's my problem. I mean, maybe it's you could draw a little downtrend break or something. Something like that on the hourly. Over that, I guess. I don't know. It's just it's not very liquid, and it's I don't see a perfect clean supply area. That's all it's really missing. I'm interested in this gold market to see if it's really basing out and starts to push back higher. Remember what I was just saying, guys. The gold market tends to bottom before our market. It's like a historical thing. Gold tends to bottom, just before our market. Let me look this up, see if I can find it. precious metals have a history of making bottoms when the Federal Reserve executes its first rate hike in a new cycle. Yeah, well, that's not true. That hasn't been true. In the last 3 cycles of rate hikes, gold rebounded an average of 28% after the first hike. Hmm. Yeah, we'll see.
Smith.
Gold still undoubtedly looks like shit. I'm gonna have my eyes on it though. It's gonna be a watch. But again, our indices have been seeing new lows, and gold, who knows? It's been basing for the last 5 days. It's not far from perfect, but yeah, MNTK is on my radar. I was seeing it. AMPS, AMPS looks cool too. Just thin, very thin for the price. I don't mind 700,000-800,000 shares a day, or 1 million shares a day, but if it were like $80 or up, under 15, it's just, then there's no dollar volume there for me to get involved. But yes, nice. AZUL, yeah, another one, cool.
CPHI.
Yeah, you're finding some nice ones, man. You're definitely finding stocks in an uptrend. I don't even know what sector that is. Let's take a look. TRMD, oil and gas. No surprise. And I've been literally sitting here saying these are strong. TRMD. What's AZUL? Airlines. Oh no, I gotta pass on that. I'm good on airlines right now. AMPS. What's that? Utilities, renewable. That makes sense. Right now. MNTK I know is renewable as well. Yeah, AZUL is a no-go for me. Even if it looks beautiful. Can't do it. American Airlines looks like ass. Southwest, their Spirit looks like shit. Airlines are a no-go. If the macro headwinds are as true as people say they are, everybody should be broke soon. There will be no flying when people are broke. I mean, that's just a factual. Yeah, exactly. It's the only decent looking name in the industry. Is that really the industry you want to be in then? Where only one thing looks decent? You know what I mean?
COSN.
Think about that for a second. That wouldn't be too much confidence for the sector if only one name looks good. Could it end up being a leading name in the sector if the sector ends up going later? Yeah, maybe. It's the best looking right now, so if that sector were to get its shit together, then you'd be like, yeah, this, I know where to go if this is the one that looks best. Yeah, Brazil ETF. Yeah, who knows? I know when we were like back in the day when our market was really shit, I don't, China was a strong sector, so maybe this EWZ Brazil ETF, we'll have to start looking for Brazilian names. Because I was looking at China names back a while ago when FXI was looking good. Right around here, up here. I was like, oh yeah, China names.
CXN.
But yeah, maybe Brazilian stocks get their act together, or that market in general. Stocks above their 40-day is wow, less than 15%. Usually that signals some form of capitulation. We'll see. You know, a lot of stocks got moved down really fast recently.
Zaire.
You know, you don't necessarily need to see panic selling, but when a lot of stocks get oversold like this, you know, that's a yeah. EQT is another. EQT, AR doesn't look as good. EQT, we'll see, but definitely one of the better names holding up. And you know, it's been respecting this 50 here for a little while now, for about a month. So we'll see. Just needs time. They just need time. But our again, markets at severe oversold territory. Yep, CRK is another one. CHK is actually even better. Chesapeake is even better. But again, you know, yeah, Frey's just crazy how choppy it is. But the volume that came into this thing yesterday was just fucking ridiculous. Yeah, the volume that came into this thing yesterday was nuts. And I guess even today. Hence the straight 52-week highs. But guys, this move was just vertical, and price action never really flattened out. It's just straight lined, you know, straight to all-time highs. I mean, this is just, you know, talk about impressive. Very, very impressive, man. Yeah, yep. Yeah, I know about NU. Believe it or not, it actually hit an alert of mine this morning. Uh, I just wanted to see what it would do over 530s again, but it failed, so I didn't touch it. But yeah. NU, you know, I've been watching some of these names like Jumia and NU, just to see, you know, how these small caps react. You know, but Warren's got a longer time horizon than I do, so I can't be patient for a decade or two. He's probably got another couple decades of patience in him.
Schwab.
Yeah, ARLP and CEIX could probably use some time too. I mean, these things have really just gone vertical, you know? If these build out a fresh new base, I would not be mad with that at all.
Moho. Moho.
But yeah, like I said, our market's pretty oversold right now. I'm not in the bearish state of mind right now. I mean, well, what's Charlie Munger? Isn't Charlie like 99 or something? I mean, it's crazy how sharp those dudes' brains are. I mean, it's honestly, it's incredibly impressive how sharp their brains are. I mean, I'm hoping at that age too that I'm that sharp.
Moho. Moho.
I've got interest in seeing how these gold names react in this environment. Really. Yeah, good diet and exercise equals healthy brain. You think Warren's out there running half marathons and stuff? I could see it.
Mobile. 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 Mobile.
Yeah, I know. I read that somewhere.
Mobile.
Yeah, I know. He does, supposedly. Yeah, he eats McDonald's every day. That's the secret to longevity, guys. It's the secret to longevity. Probably for breakfast, lunch, and dinner would be the best way to do it. Here's the thing, guys. There are people who smoke cigarettes every day and live till they're 85, and then there's people who die of, a stroke at 34. It's like, who the fuck knows? Just live your life. Whatever puts a smile on your face every day, do that. Much more important.
SOBR.
Yeah, eats Dairy Queen, he eats those candies from whatever candy company he owns. Only fuels up his car using Occidental Petroleum. Drinks Coke every day. That's how you stay fit. Yeah, sees candy, exactly. But I'm just watching this overall market. Who knows, man? It's not really tanking like it was yesterday.
SOBR. ASNS. ASNS.
Do do do.
ASNS. NUVG. NUVG. SOBR. SOBR.
Do do do. Almost feels inevitable that this CCJ pulls back to the 50. Feels inevitable. Yeah, yeah. These ETFs all look like shit. BBH looks like shit. Cloud looks like shit. Drive, FDN. You know what's starting to base out is this gold ETF. That's the gold miners starting to base out. That's why it's got my attention.
WBEV. EFOI.
Yeah, all the ETFs, every single one basically is underneath its moving averages. Every single one. You know, that's
East.
it's not a great look. That's not a great look, honestly. No, I'd like to do an undercut rally in a healthy market. I don't want to undercut rally in a down market. Like what's going to bring it up? You know, the market helps, guys. I like undercut rallies and uptrends. Undercut rally setups in an uptrend, much better. Wheat, yeah, I noticed wheat the other day. Wheat, yeah, it's back, kind of back up above everything. It's just above the 200 EMA. But you know, it's holding up really well despite this market. So it's nice to see, I guess. But
FORZ.
really, we'll see. These ETFs all look like crap.
CGEN. SOBR.
You. Yeah, this is starting to get overdone too. But who knows? Like I said, going out there to look for things to short right now isn't in my playbook. So
FORZ.
Ariel,
yes,
you seen Lee holding up today?
which one?
Lee?
Yeah, yep. But I mean, the rest of them kind of look like crap. XPev and Neo look like shit. But Lee was the first one to get going from this 22 area down here.
JT.
Who knows? Came all the way back.
SANW.
Nice to see it holding up well. Like I said, more than likely, if I had to, place a wager, I would think oversold rally first soon. And Lee's definitely in that oversold category. I mean, it gave it all right back. Who knows?
Semi.
CEIX, yeah, console energy. Yeah, it just needs to build out. CEIX, ARLP, they're going to go together if they go. If they go together. If I had to guess, I would assume oversold rally soon, and then we'll see where the market stands after this. Next week or so. As things just need time. We've been saying it. Our edge isn't always going to be there in this kind of market. It's just not possible. But it's a slow day out here. There's really none. There's really not much going on. Good day to just study, scan, sit on your hands. It's just a hard environment, guys. Remember, anything that's moving in the market, it's got a lot to do with the Fed. And if the Fed's going to tighten and going to continue to tighten and bring up interest rates, guys, no stock's going to do well. I mean, nothing. You guys have to remember that. When you hear people saying don't fight the Fed, that's exactly what they mean. You know, Fed's taking away the punch bowl. And that no way means, get aggressive going long. When inflation's going high and the Fed's tightening, I mean, not a time to buy stocks. Anybody see the news where the Russian energy minister has demanded all its male employees um, to report for military draft in Russia? Holy shit, that's crazy.
and tap. And ASN.
That's wild. 300,000 men will be called. That's wild. Yeah, it's crazy. Who would have thought, a draft era? just crazy world news. My scans are basically empty.
Smith.
Sava's still holding up incredibly well too. It's wild. Frey. FNGD, not necessarily what I want to see going up either. Dino. Soil gas name's not acting bad. Kind of slow, but who knows? Maybe tomorrow. Downtrend break. Who knows? PBF coming back. Ah, love you too, Tiger. How you doing, brother? Nice to have you in. Sex MTR has been crazy too. No setup, but it's been kind of strong.
CNTX.
INSW, what the hell? Wow. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That like Dino, seeing things like Dino holding up this well. Encouraging. I'd love to see our market speed up way lower. Show us some capitulation, baby. SUPN off my list. WSC off my list. Suave, we'll see. SPWR dead.
SLNG.
Wow. I've actually been swinging some names that have been working well. I got into some nice positions during the last little rally, and they held up well for the most part. But I recently just got stopped out. Problem is that the market's gone down 12% in 2 weeks. It's a little overbaked to the downside. So trying to get aggressive short here is not the way to go. There's no real edge. There's no real setups to go short on. A lot of things are oversold. So you almost can't be bullish or bearish in this situation. You just kind of have to see how things play out. But looking to get short down here when the market's already done this it's not really the move. You would have done it when the SPY was over the 200, and then you'd have started to look for names like when the SPY was up here. You should have started to look for names that were essentially not showing strength with the market. Like on this entire uptrend, you know, it was good to start looking for names that weren't holding up well, especially when this market got over the 200. When it cleared 420 and pushed to 430, that was a good time to start looking for things that were weak, relatively weak. But now, after this insane drop, things are oversold in 3 weeks. So, how much more can you expect in terms of downside from the market in a couple of weeks? So the edge to the downside's gone. You bought the Google top a couple weeks ago. The market was over the 200 and Google was just below the 200 right around that same time. That was the sign. And then as soon as it started to break down and took out this little range, this 118, that was your cue to be short. Now it's oversold. Everything's oversold. Getting like wanting to short Google down here or Amazon down here, like what's your edge? It's like literally buying the top. There's no setup here. The setups are basically identical as they are to the looking for a long. You look for a move down, you look for consolidation, you look for things to get tight, and then you could short the breakdown like you buy the breakout. And shorting the breakdown probably works way better in this market. But yeah, 118 should have been your exit. 118.59. Once this thing took out this little range up here, or even down here, where it held support so well. It held support right here. It showed it right there. It held it right there. And then as soon as it broke down, on 819, that was the cue to get the hell out. So yeah, there's not much edge shorting any of this down here. Literally, there's nothing. Where's your safe entry? And again, that's not to say the market can't go lower. It definitely can, but I'm just saying your edge is gone. And if you get caught in some kind of bull market rally, you're just losing more money. And bull market rallies can be very vicious. And I mean very vicious. I don't even know what the hell that means. You were just thinking right now of buying a Google Leap. I'm assuming that's an options contract, and I don't trade those, or I'm not familiar how to trade them really. It's out of my wheelhouse. But like I said, things feel pretty oversold right about now. So who knows? This is the first time FSLR is touching the 20. Funny. And so far it's holding it. Interesting. But like I said, my expectation would be a bull market rally, but that doesn't mean that there's any names right now in buyable setups. They're all getting, creamed. FSLR. Now here's the thing: if the market does an oversold rally, and then on day 3 or 4 puts in a follow through day, which means heavier relative volume than the previous, and you got something like FSLR re-breaking out, then that might be a legitimate setup. A stock breaking out, on a follow through day. I mean, that's more common than you guys might think.
REAX.
Tesla coming down to this 50 is not bad. Kind of a quick descent. 2 days, obviously stairs up, elevator down. But this Netflix is kind of bucking the trend too. Over 250, I might play Netflix for a bounce personally. We'll see. It's 20% up to the declining 200. Wouldn't be a bad trade. But over 250, it'd have to get over that. And if it wants to do it in a market that begins to bounce, that could be pretty damn good too.
IMT.
Not to mention Netflix might be finding support at the rising 20. I mean, who knows? Yeah, Seth, this is exactly a great time to just scan. A great time to just scan. You don't got to do anything. There's nothing to do. Market should be in an uptrend, before you do anything. Interesting. NOC right back through my pivot on the daily, but it's actually going through intraday. Yeah, and I'm sure if you've read some O'Neill and Minervini, you've been probably reading a lot of what I've been saying. You know, you got to stay out of the way in a market like this. You cannot try to, play hero in this kind of shit. There's just nothing to do. There's just nothing to do. Yeah, NOC is kind of in a channel, but it could very well just be breaking out. Again over this big base, this big intraday base. Pretty much over 490s, 493, 495, somewhere in that area. Over these tops. Who knows? Dino, man, this may not be done. 51.23. Okay. We'll see. Take a peek at this level too and see how it's moving. It's literally like the best acting oil gas name right now. It's crazy. Yeah, their concepts make ton of sense, man. Tons of sense. You match up you want to be looking for companies that have great fundamentals, accelerating earnings and sales, and you want to look for clean and simple bases, and you want to look for tight setups, and then you want to be buying things as they go through clear pivots, but in a healthy market. That's the part we've been missing for the last couple weeks, is in a healthy market. We don't have a healthy market, so you got to expect shit to fail. And if you want to play things like a breakout, doing it in this environment is very hard. You're much better off trying to buy breakout, in a healthy environment. If you're going to try to buy something in this environment, you have to buy dip buys, again, as it's turning back up, undercut rally setups, get in before the crowd, right? And then, you're selling some into them on that day 3. But, there's just not a lot. There's not a lot going on, guys. This Dino does look pretty good, though. Potential downtrend break. Who knows? I'm watching it, though. Just watching level 2, seeing if buyers are stepping in or what's going on right around this level. It trades pretty nice volume on the day. About 1 million shares plus a day. 2 million, actually, at $50. It's pretty liquid. That's not too much of the problem. But again, this market's crap, so. Yeah, how to make money in stocks. William O'Neill. How to make money in stocks. My favorite. It's probably my favorite trading book. And then I would follow that up with all 3 Minervini books. Yeah, Reminiscence of a Stock Operator is good too. Great book. Yeah, pen and paper. Yeah, when you read it, you thought it was boring and dry. Yeah, it's for sure boring and dry. But nothing about good trading is fun. Good trading is disciplined trading, using stops, sizing in properly, waiting for a healthy market, looking for proper setups, scanning the market. That's what good trading is. It's boring. I'm never jumping for joy because I'm not oversizing in anything. So, like, a 1 minute candlestick doesn't get me paid. You know what I'm saying? Like day traders. Or like 3 minutes, 5 minutes. I don't just get paid, some ridiculous amount. I'm trying to catch 50, 80, 100% moves, and you're not going to really catch them in this market. It's just what it is. I don't like being all doom and gloom, but it's just the facts. It's boring. It's most of the time it's just waiting.
Dude, Saab is a monster.
It really is.
Saab is a fucking monster.
I know. I just didn't see anywhere to get long on this thing. But look at that. Another new high. It's wild.
NYXP.
Phrase relentless. The volume that came in yesterday was no joke. Not exactly sure where the hell that came from.
PYDX. PYBX. Black.
So slow out here. Be interesting to see if snow holds this 50. Probably will. Dino looks good. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about taking a tiny little position in Dino, like a 25 or a 20% starter. You know, I mean, literally on like on like not much shares and risking about $1.30. But my size would be so small. Again, it's just would be kind of a relevant size. But I don't really want to be taking a relevant size per se, guys. I'd rather just wait until I get a better market. But again, Dino is bucking the trend, and it's above both these days' highs. You know, it's above yesterday's high and above Tuesday's high. I mean, it's not terrible.
ASLN.
Not terrible. It's not terrible, but it's also not very exciting. You know, Dino's done a really nice job too finding support on the rising 100. You know, some of these oil gas names have done that. Finding support on the rising 100. You know, and every time it's done that, it's gone higher. So, you know, I don't necessarily see a textbook picture perfect tight consolidation, but it's definitely a downtrend break and it's definitely above yesterday's high. So, you know, it's got two little benefits going for it right now. But other than that, you know, it's if I were seeing more strength in the sector, that would feel good. But you know, let's see how COP looks. You know, COP doesn't actually look terrible. XOM could use a bounce here. CVX, CVLNG, CHK. I mean, guys, there's still so many halfway decent. This Chesapeake just took a major shit. It's not good. And on lower volume, too. That's weird. I don't know. There's really nothing I want to get aggressive with. Even Dino. I don't even want to buy it. It just is. It's the environment we're in. But Yeah, there's not much excitement to get aggressive into anything here. And again, we can be in an oversold bounce for sure.
TGLO WINR WINR TGLO TGLO
We'll see.
ARB
Yeah.
Smith
Yep. This could be a potential dip buy setup on ARLP, right? If it closed just like today and then tomorrow, it started to break over today's high. Yeah. That could very well be considered a dip buy setup. Right off of the 50, basically. And that is how you would get in before the crowd, but you were hoping that whenever you do buy this tomorrow, that we're in a better market, a market that's at least in an oversold rally, right? Because this is actually holding up pretty well despite the market. If this starts to break back up, and bounces off the 50, you will be in before the crowd. Most of the crowd will be waiting for a breakout. But also take this with a grain of salt. Look at the move this thing's made. You gotta be careful buying something like this still. Yep, MNTK. I think that's what utility's name? Yeah, MNTK could be decent as well. Nothing perfect about it, but a really tight day. If it closed like this, it'd be a really tight day. Yeah, this one feels a little bit more random, but damn, that's a big ass move. And it's super thin. Would just be a pass for me. Too thin. More volume, more volume. That's what you really want. Same with this MNTK. I mean, even the market's having a hard time, putting in any kind of a oversold rally too. That's the crazy part here. Just goes to show you the lack of interest in any of these names. Doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of interest. Yeah, RYTM's holding up pretty well. The further it gets away from these two big ass candles, the better. The further price gets away from that, like the more days it can consolidate away from these two big candles. But yeah, it's a nice one. It's not bad.
AGRX.
I don't exactly know what the hell it's going to take for the market to have an oversold rally, but things feeling a little overdone here. It'll be interesting to see how today closes, honestly. It really will. It'll be very interesting.
Bro, you still watching Sada?
Is it still going?
45.
45. Wow. And on big volume too, man. Big volume. Either someone's really getting squeezed out or it's really getting accumulated. No real way to know, but it's unbelievable. I won't be surprised if this thing ends up at 55. VWAP of what day is this? 210. We'll see. Would be a pretty nice level. Mm-hmm.
I know Cam's over there, bro. Jesus.
I've heard of traders entering a low risk pilot position. What's a pilot position and do you use it as well? Yeah. Yep. I do pilot positions all the time, man. I just did one in Dino. Right as Dino started to take out yesterday's highs, I took a tiny little position. If it begins to work for me and then above these moving averages tighten up, I'll add to it. But guys, getting aggressive in this market is the dumbest shit you can do. It's really, there's no setups. There's so far few in between things that are going up. So yeah, I take pilot positions all the time, meaning I take 20% of a full position. So hypothetically, if I wanted a $200,000 position, I take 40 or 50,000 a dollar position, and so my risk if I'm wrong is way less. I treat my stop the same. I don't just widen up my stop to like take a bigger loss. My stop stays where it should be, even if I took a full position. And if it begins to work for me, good. I'm beginning to see some traction in another energy oil name, and it's like that will start to bring your attention to other energy oil names if they're going to start to work, and figuring out what exposure of yours is working versus what's not. But in this shit, it's a shitty ass market. There's really nothing to do. And on Dino, I didn't even set my stop all the way at low day. I set it at the stop of that last hourly candle. Like, I'm not even giving my pilot positions much room to breathe. We're either in an oversold market and it should begin to bounce, or we're not. And I'm just going to keep getting stopped out of positions. But the more I'm getting stopped out of stuff, the smaller positions I'm taking. Recognizing, hey, things aren't working in this market. Like, things just aren't working. So to get aggressive in this is just I want to get aggressive behind things that are winning. I'd like to see like my pilot position work and my add-on work and another pilot position work and then another half-size position work and a full-size position work. These daily candlesticks on Saba are just fucking crazy. Why did I decide to go with the low of that hourly candlestick? Because I'm not giving anything breathing room right now. Things are either going to start to work for me and work quickly, or they're not, or they're not. I'd rather be doing nothing in this environment, guys, and I mean it. I'd rather be doing nothing. I'm happy to scan the market because that's just what I enjoy doing, but trading this shit, I don't see why. I don't see why we would. So yeah, I'll take fucking quarter position. I mean, this PBF too found support right on the rising 100, and it's working out pretty well for it. That's why it's like, some oil gas names are acting, and energy names are acting so much better than others. It's why I still have tons of interest in Oxy. But who the fuck knows? Yeah, PBF. It's acting really well. It's acting really well. Found support right on the rising 200. Who knows? I would love to see. Okay, so you see how this found support on the rising 100 and then pushed up, and then I would like to see push up a little bit more, maybe right back to this 34 level, put in a couple of small red days in a row, get tight, and then go. Almost like this setup back here. See how something holds the 100, pushes back up, couple tight red days in a row, and then go. Right? I'd love to see something like that on like PBF. Right? Find support on the rising 200, push up a little bit more, a couple red days in a row, back up above all moving averages, and then go. Nothing there right now, but ideally that's how it would set up. Ideally. Nothing's ever ideal. But that would be the ideal. Just like this setup. XLE. Find support on the rising, kind of fail. Find support on the rising 100. Push right back up. Couple tight days in a row. Gone. Just like that. You get something like that, then, we might be good. But PBF looks cool. PBF looks cool. Dino could do something similar too. Push back up, few red days in a row, and then go. In a healthier market, or while XLE's pushing up. And the thing is XLE's fine. It's not. Again, this ETF's not dead. It's still the best looking ETF out there. It's still the best one out there. Yeah, Dino's not looking so bad right now. We'll see how far it pushes out this hour.
APTX.
Yeah,
APTX.
it's not nice to see gas names going up. No. And here's the thing. If I'm reading the tea leaves correctly, the United States is releasing however many million barrels a week or something from our strategic oil reserves just to keep prices, kind of suppressed. But sooner rather than later, they're waiting for oil prices to come down so that they can rebuy, um, oil cheaper and refill their strategic oil reserves. Well, here's the thing. The only way for oil to get cheaper is to crush demand, right? That's the only real way for oil to get cheaper is you have to kill demand. And well, I don't know a whole lot about supply and demand, but people need to go broke to kill demand for oil for it to go cheap enough. People literally have to go broke. So if our government plans on buying oil back, they're kind of waiting for under $80 a barrel. You know, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see how that all that ends up working out. But Dino looks fine. We'll see. Again, small pilot position. Nothing really to do. No need to get aggressive.
WINR. Davu. 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 MTCR. BBSV. CRMT.
Yeah, he tried to refill it back at 24. Yeah, I'm sure he did. He's you know, the Germans laughed at him too when he told them that they were becoming too dependent on Russian energy.
IONN.
Trump was a lot smarter than people were giving him credit for. Much smarter. Interesting. FSLR back in the range, huh? I mean, bounced cleanly off the 20. Yeah, yeah, that's exactly right. How could we forget that? Yeah, Uni. The Russians were laughing at Trump when he said you guys are becoming too dependent on Russia for your energy, and it's going to lead to a problem. He told them this 2 years ago, but all they did was laugh because they didn't believe it was an issue. And now, now there's an issue, and they didn't want to listen. It's like when your dad tells you no running next to the pool, and you're running, and you slip and you bust your ass. You should have just listened.
IONN. Biaflu.
Yeah, my scans are basically empty. Just means there's not much to do, guys. Literally. That's exactly what it means. we'll see how the market reacts. Like I said, oversold rally seems like the most likely outcome, but I'm not gonna. I can't force the market to go higher. But oversold is oversold. And this could actually be a playable oversold rally. You just stock selection is going to be important, and I don't really see much in terms of setups. Maybe some of these oil and gas names like Oxy bouncing off the 100. Maybe only because I'm still seeing so much strength in all these other oil names like Dino. Even CVX still looks pretty damn good. I won't lie to you guys. It's actually a really nice flag. It's kind of wide and loose, kind of choppy, whatever, but you know, it's still bullish. The whole chart is still bullish. So I'm not sure. I still know this, that whole sector, one of the things that a lot of people don't talk about, like especially with, commodities like oil and gas, like low prices of oil isn't going to make these oil and gas companies invest their own money for new wells and new refinement and new, when the price of their commodity is low, right? But when the price of their commodity is high, that's when you get all these smaller, drillers and refiners and, people who make the machinery. And that's when you get them to go to work, because there's an incentive of higher commodity price, for them to produce. Like, so higher price of the commodity, eventually leads to lower price because now there's more supply. But if there's tons of demand, if there's still demand for something, but the price is too low, that's not going to get, Exxon and Chevron to start digging, new wells. I mean, that's just not what's going to do it. Similar with the uranium sector. If the price of spot uranium is too low, and again, none of this matters technically, right? Like on a technical chart, but if your price of your commodity is too low, it's not going to get it. There's not enough money out there for these new miners to incentivize them to go get the permitting, find the land, get the machines up and running, hire people to go out there and mine uranium. You need a higher commodity price to incentivize these miners to work. So in order to meet the demand, first you need the commodity price to go up, right? So then these other small refiners or miners or driller or whatever, anybody that is in that sector, that's what would get them to get up and go to work, right? Or start, like if I knew, hey, gold's like at its all-time high and it's going higher, well then I might think about a career change, right? You'd be like, oh, you know what, we're doing this XYZ, but gold, look at how expensive it is. Like, let's get out there and mine some, because like we could be rich, right? That's the whole idea. And then now a bunch of new supply comes online, and then the price of that commodity drops, Yeah, guys, Paul, the spy's going down. I mean, this is a shitty environment. I'm not even thinking about, getting aggressive. Again, oversold rally at best for now, but conditions suck out here. An oversold rally at best. I don't know. I don't see setups, man. So I got nothing to do. Netflix is actually starting to look constructive from the lows, showing relative strength recently. But in terms of like viable setups, I don't see shit. I already know what I'd like to see on PBF. Another little push, couple red days in a row, and then a move from there. But for now, there's just not much going on. Yeah, and guys, things can continue to drop. You know, Airbnb and Apple. I mean, I'm looking. PayPal just looks like it's breaking down. So many names. You know, Uber, which looked pretty decent a few days ago, had it just set up a little bit better. You know, but there's not a lot to get excited about out here. You know, next to nothing. Look at what happened with Wolf in this ascending channel. It's exactly why I didn't like it. I just said it was like this rising wedge never really got tight and price never really flattened out. Sure enough, creamed. Fucking creamed.
Stiff.
You know, all even man,
Stiff.
Goldman getting crushed again. Probably means these banking names look like crap. So much for thinking they might be setting up. RJF still looks okay. Just needs some time. IBKR. This one looks okay too. YPF strong. Sure. Strong. I just don't see a setup. But yes. Massive move from the lows. You know, 200+%. Look at GIS. GIS was the one yesterday. Should have bought opening range highs for the EP. It's holding up beautifully. Doesn't really care about this market. You know, we'll see. Like this cop still looks just fine. Surfing the 20.
SKYH.
Well, CCJ, come on down. You and everybody else, come on down. World Bank tells staff that it is clear that greenhouse gas emissions from human activities are causing climate change. Huh. You don't say. Love hearing hindsight stuff like that.
NUVG. Alcav.
Not much to do here today. Uh, yeah. Since there isn't much happening at the technical fundamentals, could you please explain to us about your mindset when you approach trading for the first time? Well, I'm not exactly sure what you mean about like the first time, like maybe when I first started or when I first made my switch to swing trading. It was really tough at first when I first started to swing because I was so used to oversizing. I was so used to quick gains. I was so used to a market that was just going straight up, and so I was like learning trading the wrong way, where you could just like buy a dip off of moving average or previous area of resistance, and it would bounce, and you'd play that quick bounce, and but now really, after really having just studied how things move, I understand that the most important part about swing trading is waiting for a healthy market. Because like I've mentioned before, there are often times where things will just go up because of the market, but then it's learning how to identify what'll end up making the biggest move. What sector is the leading sector. Um, those things are now way more important to me. So it really is just, I knew it was just a matter of studying how the biggest winners moved, and, seeing what kind of like really gave me a big impression was, I read the Mark Minervini books and I knew he was United States investing champion back in the day, but then he doesn't compete for 20 years. And he's in these books, he's like telling people the rules, what works, what doesn't, how fundamentals line up, what a nice setup looks like, etc. And he comes back 20 years later and he crushes everybody at the United States Investing Championship. So like once I saw that, that like really opened up my eyes that you don't have to be the first one to click the button, to be really good. I doubt, Mark Minervini's better than Nate, at day trading, right? But Mark doesn't need to be to make 300-400% return on his account. He just needs a healthy market, and he's got an understanding for how a chart sets up technically. And so once I saw him win the United States Investing Championship, like I said, my eyes were completely opened. Like, holy cow, here's a guy who won the United States Investing Championship back in the day, tells everybody how you're supposed to do it, doesn't compete for 20 years, and everybody's like, he just writes books. That's how he made all his money. And then he shows up and he crushes everybody at this, doing like 400% on his portfolio or whatever the hell it was. It's like once like that clicked, I was sitting there thinking, well, if he can do it, I can do it, and then I just started studying all the guys who've been around in the market for 30, 40 years, the Bill O'Neill's and Mark Minervini and Pat Walker and Roy Maddox and Dan Sanger, and I started to like go through just those guys and their material. And I realized like a lot of them, like when I went through Dan Sanger's notes and his buy recommendations on particular stocks and through key level, I realized, a lot of these stocks, they all looked the same, and they were all above moving averages before they made their move. For the most part, they were in a leading sector. And then you start to look at the market at the time when these recommendations were given, and the market was in steady uptrend. And, it's like I started to like kind of get my own stubborn thoughts out of the way, as to my opinions about how I think or how I thought things would move. And then, I just started studying price action, right? And I started really studying Kulamagi, like, since he was somebody who was twitching as well, and what would entice him to buy something, and what day would he buy something, and looking back, watching his streams, 2 weeks later and seeing that he's still in it because it never violated his sell rules, like I was watching his streams, some of them from 2017, and like the dude was unknown and he was taking these like these fairly small positions, and then now it's like, now he takes multi-million-dollar positions, and it's like he's really been doing the exact same thing for years. He hasn't switched up his style at all for years. And there's just going to come a period when things are really hot and the market's really working, and you buy something and it's absolutely flying from your average the day you buy it, and that's kind of what you expect from a breakout. And then you're in the driver's seat on a trade, but you're most times than not, you're doing it in a healthy market, and that really is the most important part. But people fail to recognize what a good market and what a crappy market looks like. And if you can't recognize the market that you're in, you're going to struggle. And one of the biggest transitions for me is being a good listener. When the market's not in an uptrend, at the very least on the 60-minute, where it's like I'm looking at the SPY and it's below every moving average on the 60-minute. I mean, it's below everything on the daily, but even on the 60-minute, now if we were starting to get up over everything on the 60-minute, well, at least a smaller time frame's in an uptrend, right? And maybe you can do something with that, but it's like just a matter of studying and taking my own opinion and biases out of it. Not getting married to things, not getting married to stops, being quick to cut things. And then, again, learning from other traders about position sizing, about taking a pilot position, and just kind of seeing how that works. And if a stock is really truly strong, it'll set up a handful of times. Would you say we're past the equator of the bear market? Yeah. I mean, the SPY's down far enough. 20% is considered a bear market for the indices. So I'm pretty sure if we're not there already, we're damn close. Yeah, we're under 20% right now. So it's bear market territory still. It's we're definitely in bear market territory, which is why I've said don't get aggressive. Like finding things that are showing relative strength, great. That's one thing. But getting aggressive and expecting some massive winner in this market is just silly. It's just better to sit on the hands and not burn your capital or not burn your mentality up, because these setups really do work. So it's like, but seeing them fail all the time, it's like, it gets frustrating. And then you're like, oh, this strategy doesn't work. What's the next strategy? And like, you go bouncing from strategy to strategy to strategy. It's like, everything has its season, right? Everything has its turn. And right now it's not a swing trader's turn. There will come a time for it when, like, guys, there have been instances when I've opened up 7, 8 names in a day and I'm bright green on everything, like 5% or better, and then everything gaps up for me overnight. And then I'll have to like go looking for a new entry. I'm already in it and everything's gapped up overnight, and then pushes again for the second day and gaps up again. And, all those 8, 9 names that you just opened the day before, are all bright green and then some, but that requires a healthy market, not this bullshit, right? Yeah, yeah, exactly. Mark Minervini decided to come back to United States Investing Championship when the market was as hot as ever, because he knew his rules, he knew his style would fit perfectly for that kind of market, and it's great. It's how you catch massive winners. Things like go 100+% and sometimes a handful of days, like 10, 12 days, 15 days, 3 weeks. You're catching these 50+% moves. That's a great feeling. But right now, you're in a hurricane with the wind blowing at your face, and you're taking a piss. All right? If you don't think you're going to pee on your leg, you got something else coming. So I don't like to get aggressive in this market. There's a time to preserve capital, and there's a time to just, do not, like what Jesse Livermore say? There's a time to go long, there's a time to go short, and there's a time to go fishing. What's Upstart do? That's funny. Yeah, that was a little blunder on his part, but it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter. I know people who were in that Minervini private access group, and he got everybody out safely. He didn't hold that downtrend. He doesn't hold downtrends. If a stock starts to act weird, after it's already made a really big move up, and it starts to have more distribution days, and I'm pretty sure he told everybody to sell that stock well before it broke down. So, oftentimes you don't have to know what a company does if you just understand the technicals and you're in a healthy market. Yeah. Yeah, how to find leaders in a bear market. You got to look for relative strength. Things are setting up. Like oftentimes a leader will take off before the market bottoms. A lot of times your future leaders will take off well before market bottoms. How they set up afterwards, like that's to be determined, like FSLR. You know, it's definitely pulling back, but this thing's a leader. And if it just goes sideways and builds out a fresh new base, and then the market, changes its characteristics, FSLR can easily continue. You know, these oil and gas names, they can also continue to lead. Again, not the best thing I'd want to see, but Yeah, he still denies about the whole Upstart thing. He says something about his audio was messed up. I don't know if I believe that, but I don't know that I believe it. But it doesn't matter what we believe. Fact is, Mark is a really solid stock picker, and so what he has to teach is very valuable, and I listen to it because, he's got his shit together, and he's been surviving this market for the last 40 years basically. He's seen it all. Like literally, he's seen it all. No, and of course he's not going to admit to him not knowing what a company does. And I believe here's the thing. I actually do believe he knows what they do. You can't not, you got to he would have to know. So if he uses MarketSmith, which I know he does, he would have found, he would have at least known what sector they were in. At the very least, literally. I doubt highly he didn't. Just seems incredibly unlikely. The first million's definitely the hardest. It feels like a big weight's been lifted off your shoulders. Like, because once you feel like you can make, you've done that in the market, then anything's possible. But again, if you made your first million in 2020, you did it in the easiest environment ever. So if guys are struggling now, it's no surprise. You had to have adjusted. You had to have learned. And again, when I was learning to swing trade, I literally started at the basically beginning of this year. So it's not like I've had the most amazing success doing it this year. It's been difficult, but I've also learned to sit on my hands a lot of time. This year, I've taken so many less trades than I did in 2020. It's been a lot of sitting on my hands. I've taken a lot of flat trades this year, a lot of small green. I've had a handful of nice winners, like TQQQ. I played the bounce really well. Yeah, I had a ton of my success in 2020, 2021. But, I just know, how I'd like to run my portfolio in the future. So, again, I take it for what it's worth, and I know what the future me wants to be doing, so I know I have to practice it now, and nobody ever said that, making a switch mentally would be easy. Like I said, I was always so used to oversizing. I was always so used to quick gains. I was always so used to peeling profits in a few minutes, but the environment changed. And I wanted to change too. So, I've had to make a big adjustment mentally. And that's okay. Food's on the table, roof's over the head, and I get a chance to study these markets. And when things really do turn up, it's an easy dollar environment. Even when the market was bouncing like a few months back, I did really well. And I only needed that period. I could have been on vacation the rest of this year, and I'd be good. So it's like you only need one or two periods during the entire year for swing trading, and you can have plenty of success. I'm eyeballing gold still. Gold's still a big interest of mine too. Remember what I said, gold tends to bottom before the general market. So seeing how these gold and silver names react, and silver looks okay too. Silver actually is not looking bad at all. Found really nice support on the 20, had massive volume yesterday, tight day today. Silver looks pretty good. Generally speaking, I mean, what's happening most recently. This TLT is really my concern. I don't want to see TLT keep going down. It's not very encouraging. Same thing with the dollar. I want to see the dollar come down already. Do 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 do.
OTMO.
But yeah, same thing with like NOC. You know, I took another little starter on it today, but I'm not using low of day. I'm using the low of the hourly candle I bought it on. You know, I'm not really messing around with any of these positions. I'm not going to give them much room to breathe at all. You know, I'm pretty much going to choke them off if they start to pull back. You know? And again, I believe we could very well be at an oversold rally. So, you know, whatever's looking nice, I expect to push out. If it doesn't, we won't be hanging out. There will be zero hanging out in this in these names. How's this thing looking? Sava? Holy shit. I don't really see much else to do here, guys. I might just call it a day here. It's noon. My positions are far not many. Dino, fifth position size, and NOC same deal. A little bit more than a normal fifth position size, but stops are super tight on everything. So we'll see. Two small new commitments today in Dino NOC, but nothing else really. I don't see anything else to do in this situation. Nothing else to do. I guess it would have been cool to have had Sava, huh? Talk about a 3-day momentum burst. Whew. 50% in 3 days. Wow. Alrighty, guys, that's it for me today. We will see you tomorrow, and hopefully we have some oversold kind of a rally, and maybe the leaders start showing up again. But until then, we just hang out. Yes, I got stopped out of LTHM. When it took out 919's low, this day, when it took out this low, I basically cut it at, hold on, I'll tell you. 32.18, right here. Yep, I'm out. No harm, no foul. I sold 10% of my position up here, and the rest I just got stopped out. I'm basically flat, so it was a tiny green trade. But I will see you guys all tomorrow. Have yourselves a good one. Enjoy the rest of your day.